the whole reason you go to a teacher is ironically to want, to actually aim for, so that one will not want. You understand? And that's, I'm not joking here, I'm not twisting any language, or I'm not trying to be clever, but that is the main aim, isn't it? I mean, that is the whole point of the tantric concept of guru. You don't want to leave guru independently at the end. I mean, you don't want to leave the guru outside there as an external savior. You want to realize your mind, nature of your mind is the guru. Guru is only a bridge. So ultimately, wanting something from an external source is something that we have to eliminate.
Okay. Well, it seems like, though, there's this point where people get stuck, where intellectually they know what you're saying is true, but they also have this kind of grasping quality towards the teacher.
Yes. Well, it's a very complicated relationship. Like a Zen master said, to study Buddhism is to study about yourself. To study Buddhism is to study about yourself. To study about yourself is to forget about yourself. Yes, that says it. To actually, the ultimate aim of Dharma practice is to forget. Not to say forget, actually to really transcend, to go beyond all these distinctions. Now, that should be the fundamental base where we develop the student and teacher's relationship. But not many times it happens this way. Many times student and relationship is just another relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, man, woman. So that's why there's a game. When a student is insecure, students play games. When the guru is insecure also, gurus who are not accomplished, they have insecurity and they play games. That's why, first of all, students don't go to a teacher seeking for something they need. Rather, they go there to look for something they want. Similar thing happens from the teacher too. Many of us, many of the teachers like myself, we are not even brave enough to really give what the student really needs. And what student really needs could be very raw, very painful, very naked. And who has courage to do that? It's so difficult. Because many of us, we have agendas. Agenda is the big problem in this world, basically. One should be agenda-free. We do know that we have to crush our ego. Now, in order to do that, we have to see a model, so if you like, okay, a model who has done it, okay, and we have to admire that model. And when we admire, then there's Father, there's the leader, there's all that thing, Buddha, whatever. So that's the only way to go. I mean, how would you teach someone in order to crush their ego? Look at your teacher as your maid. It won't work.
But then...
Maybe for some very peculiar people. But it does work when you need to look upon as someone higher than you, or someone who's more pure than you.
Is there a point where students can get stuck, though, as in like a parental relationship, not trusting their own?
Oh yeah, that can happen. That's what I was saying before. Many teachers have many teachers don't have courage to give their children, their disciples, what they need, because they have agenda. They want to give them what they want. And that can spoil them. That can make them emotionally dependent on them. Very much. That's big responsibility for the teacher. If the teacher and the students are genuinely interested in the enlightenment. But if they just want to build a relationship, yeah, that's the way to go. One should be more superior, the other always a little bit inferior, attempting to become superior, but always one step behind. And that works. That's how the relationship works.
Do you remember a point in your own practice where you stepped away from, that you went through this process?
Seeing my teacher as human beings, seeing my teacher as impure and all of that, all the time, even now. For instance, hypocrisy that people like I have, doing one thing in front of maybe a picture of my teachers, and do something else behind, you understand? And that shows that there is a lack of acceptance that your teacher is the Buddha. He knows everything. There is no such thing as behind the picture or in front.
How can we determine if a teacher is a genuine teacher?
That's a good question. It's very difficult, but especially as a deluded being, people like us, we can't. Our judgment, even we judge that someone is a really good teacher, how much can we trust with our own judgment? Many times our own judgment has failed us. This is why in Buddhism, study, contemplation, not accepting Buddhism with blind faith, with blind devotion, is very much stressed, especially initially, by the Buddha himself. Again and again, Kangsala mitun cholatan, that's what he said. Not to depend on a person, but depend on the teachings that he gave you. And not simple like that. You have to, it will always be an insurance, okay, if you like, to study, contemplate on the Buddhist texts, study them. And then finally, once you are slightly matured, I would say, it's in this, even all the other quality failed, okay? Maybe your teacher is not a learned, maybe not, I don't know, gentle, I don't know, straight enough, I don't know. But one thing that I think you should look for is a teacher who is not interested in himself. A teacher who is totally interested in you and fellow sentient beings.
Is there any value in Western students making a pilgrimage to Taksang or to Bodh Gaya?
Yeah. Pilgrimage, although it has become very ritual now, it's sort of devotional, ritualistic thing. the essence of going to all this pilgrimage is to remind ourselves that such beings exist. Not as a hero, okay? Not as someone who has done this, did this, but as an example. Like even going to places like Hiroshima probably can, even it is a minute, might remind you how we human beings destroy ourselves. It's like that. Going to Kushinagar, for instance, can remind you that life is impermanent, even the Buddha himself. Going to places like Saranath can remind you that one of the greatest... I'll just wait until that thing passes. Okay? One of the greatest thing that has been said in this world was said there. And then it might invoke a little interest. What did he say? Know the suffering. Abandon the cause of suffering. And so on and so on. So important, to remind ourselves. I mean, of course, if you're a good practitioner, you don't need these things. But I think one should help ourselves with all kinds of help. Even it requires some kind of gross reminder, like a holy land, mountains, trees, whatever, Mm-hmm. It's like keeping the nostalgia, right? That's the word I was looking for. Nostalgia can open a door to many things. Nostalgia can be a fuel for creativity. Here we are talking about nostalgia of an enlightened being, and that may trigger the creativity in the sense of really valuing the Dhamma, spiritual path, and seeing futility of this worldly life. Devotion in Buddhism is actually trusting in cause, condition and effect. It's something that scientists do. If you cook an egg, you need a certain cause and condition. Stove, pot, water, fire, gas, whatever. And if you have no obstacle, egg will be cooked. That's for sure. And you can trust on that. That's how for centuries people cook the egg. Because of that. And that trust in cause, condition and effect is so-called devotion in Buddhism.
Can one make a movie without having an agenda?
Mm-hmm.
But you want to say something, isn't it, in the movie? Isn't that an agenda?
I think, yes. I think there is few directors who did that, right? Without any script. Without any sort of, not even knowing what is it that they are going to shoot. I have heard there are great directors who has done, and outcome are actually quite amazing film. I believe that. We are so stuck with a certain lifestyle, a lifestyle that needs to be arranged, programmed. It's getting worse, actually. We are getting further and further. We are getting more and more distant from spontaneity.